I'm back. Oh, the credits ended before I got back. Ah, man. That game was so fun. So much cool stuff. Okay, oh. Wonder what happens if I click continue. Wonder where it will take me. Probably to the last autosave, right? Oh, okay. Yeah, so let's, load. I think... Let's see if we have a load from day 5. 1908. Okay, so this was right before we went into the thing. So this is the perfect opportunity. I think the book club starts at 10. Was it? So let's look at our books. Well, let's actually look at our board games first. So we looked at Whirl a little bit. Did we look at everything? I don't think we did. Look at the back. Oh, okay, I guess we did. Look at Suzerainty. Let's see. Leave it perfect and undisturbed. No, we're gonna play it. The box has a nice heft to it. You hear the rattle of individual wooden tokens and feel their weight shifting back and forth. What treasures wait in store for you? Even before you open it, you can tell that this game will be a meaty game of grand strategy and complex player interactions. Oh, excuse me. Remove the plastic wrap. The plastic wrap ripped off as easily as a bodice in a tawdry historical romance. Open the box. There's a hiss as the lid slides off. Inside, you find a thick, full-color rulebook and more than a dozen pouches of various wooden components. Ah, savor that new board game smell. A mix of wood, paper, and ink, all wrapped in the sweet must of cardboard. Read the rulebook. Hey, Kim, want to play? Ha 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 ha. We can ask him. Welcome to Suzerainty. Sorry, I don't know why I keep messing up saying that word. A game of economic strategy for the whole family. The rulebook is sumptuously illustrated, as thick as a Gradian novel. Finally, a proper game to teach children about the importance of trade and global economy. The colorful illustrations depict workers picking apricots, hauling marble sculptures out of crumbling temples, and harvesting a strange magenta leaf plant. Everyone is smiling. The instructions are opaque at first and introduce many concepts you're not familiar with. Unfortunately, there are many diagrams and examples throughout. You soon figure out the basic conceit. Conceit? Each player represents an administrator for the suzerain of Revachol. Suzerainty? I don't know. I'd probably have to check with the voice acting. Oh, excuse me. Sorry for the sneeze. For the pronunciation of that. Your objective is to increase the suzerain's wealth and renown by accumulating victory points. How do you accumulate victory points? F the suzerain. What about my wealth and renown? That's where the suzerain's vessels come in. The game features 4 vassal nations, each one home to an economically important resource. Each turn, the player collects resources from vassals where they've placed workers. They may rearrange their workers, fulfill contracts for coins and bonuses, or build structures back in Revachol. As you leaf through the pages, your eye catches on the sidebar labeled Advice for Beginners. Remember, there are many paths to victory in suzerainty, but successful players will find one strategy and commit to it wholeheartedly. Boring, boring, boring. Tear this rulebook up and commit some old-school atrocities. How is the winner determined? The actual scoring system appears infinitely complex, with a series of tables and appendices required to compute each player's final victory point total. You skip that part for now. Examine the components. Actually, I want to see what it says. Hold on. Let's turn on the voice acting so I can see how they pronounce the game name.
The colorful the instructions are you soon figure out the basic conceit. There is no path to wealth and renown, but through the suzerain. As one of the suzerain's trusted administrators, your very function is the glorification of Revachol. That's where the suzerains each turn
I think that's the same.
Through the pages, your eye remember. Boring.
Oh, they just said it, darn it.
Boring.
Isn't there any way to evade or commit atrocities or anything fun like that?
Suzerainty is a family game.
Suzerainty.
Only
Okay.
atrocities you'll be committing are against the social standing of your rival administrators, as you bring in ever more resources and power for the suzerain. Speaking of,
Suzerainty. Okay.
the actual scoring system appears infinitely complex, with a series of tables and appendices
Okay, so we can turn it off. Suzerainty.
required
Examine the components. You open up a number of pouches containing wooden tokens. There are also several punch boards with other cardboard components that will need to be punched out before you can play. Punch out the cardboard pieces one by one. Check out the wooden tokens. I wonder if Kim would want to do this with us. Punch out the cardboard tokens. In addition to the worker and building tokens used by each player, there are also several piles of colorful resource tokens, each representing one of the game's 4 principal resources. From the Empire of Safre, orange apricot tokens. From Il Marat, the ancestral name of Il Mara, gray marble block tokens. From the Seminian Islands, white sacks of sugar tokens. And from Supermundi and Sarmiriza, magenta tokens for unprocessed cocaine leaves.
Oh, those are nice.
The lieutenant picks up a sugar token and admires it. Oh, he's looking, I guess. Okay, I want Kim to be next to me, because he's not up the stairs. We can't go in yet, right? Oh, we can go in. Let's play in here. Let's not play out in the snow. I wonder if the kids are in here yet. Nope, just us. Oh, I forgot my mouse is not working. At the bottom of the pod, an aisle of black sludge rises from a shadowy sea. Punch out the cardboard pieces one by one. Each cardboard token makes a satisfying ch as you pop it out. Soon a neat pile of cardboard, coins, and counters has accumulated before you.
What? You're not going to offer to let me punch any of them out?
I was going to, you know, Kim, but it doesn't give me that option. Hey, Kim, want to play? The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he sees something that makes his eyes go wide.
Holy shit. The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours.
6 hours is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, it'd be 1:30 in the morning.
I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
Suggestion. Intriguing components. Ooh. We can get into play. Okay, so after the book club, we'll just play so that we'll just, like, play for the rest of the night. Okay. So let's read some books and then have that going on. Or, you know what? Since we're just doing this for fun, we could just do it right now and then just have another day tomorrow and just read books all day, right? We're already here. We'll just read. Okay, let's read our communist book. We read the editor's note. I just want to make sure we didn't miss anything. I think this is a communist magazine.
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders Union. They're probably bankrolling the thing.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. Oh, we read about the bear wrestling. I remember this. Guess it's hard to fight a bear if you're out of shape. Kim, do you think there's any chance our case will take us to the SRV?
The Samaran People's Republic?
The lieutenant
I
frowns.
should expect not. Why do you ask?
I was thinking it'd be fun to see a bear fight. I was thinking it'd be fun to partake in a bear fight.
I suppose that would be something to see.
Lieutenant seems amused at the thought of you wrestling a bear. Ha ha ha. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. What is Kunst and Kultur? It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst and Kultur must mean arts and culture. Why they decided to tell this one section in Walder is beyond you. Obviously because it's cool to drop random phrases in foreign languages. Oh yeah. It evokes a sense of recognition and fellowship among those privileged enough to understand. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tourney, a critical Mazovian perspective. Read the profile of CS. C.S. Lewis? Just kidding. This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer. Just a moment. What is this tip-top tourney? The actual article is surprisingly light on details, but after skimming a page or two, you gather that it has something to do with motor carriage racing. All right, let's see what these communists have to say about Tip Top. You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colorful drivers. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tourney. Wait, what's wrong with Tip Top? Oh yeah, didn't Kim mention this when we talked about his car, his motor carriage? Where even to start? For one, there's a crass commercialism of its sponsorships, and then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes. Hang on, who wrote this stuff? Oddly enough, this article has two bylines: Nasib Enkalada and Bernal and Exilis Butcher. Just a moment, those names seem awfully familiar. What's so bad about sponsorships? Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity. Is it 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock? We'll finish this and then we'll exit and come back in just in case. Thus, the so-called tourney becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers, your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes or even a Fleet. Right, but then you get to see them crash. And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would most quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for. No, I'm pretty sure I like it for the racing. Wow, you're right. I really am just in it for the violence. Sure, you think that, but subconsciously, it's the visions of the brand names being engulfed in flames that you crave. Guess I've never thought about it that much. That's because you haven't been reading critically. But don't worry, the whole point of these sorts of articles is to let someone else read critically for you. Kim, you wouldn't believe how badly written some of these articles are.
I can imagine. Something tells me there's not exactly a glut of young communists itching to write about tip-top for La Fumée. If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I take whatever they write with a large grain of salt.
Just flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. Let's see what they mean by local concerns. Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dockworkers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First we take Martinez, then we take La Delta. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer G. Martin accusing the owner of the Cape Side apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent. Ah, this must be Gaston's handiwork. Dang communists should have killed a lot of them when they had the chance. If it weren't for the wild pines, all those moochers would be out of a job. Charging rent just to live somewhere is pretty outrageous. Wouldn't it be better for everyone if labor and capital could reach some reasonable accommodation? But why should I care? This doesn't have anything to do with me. The writer G. Martin remarks dryly that capitalists love wealth redistribution, so as long as it's only redistributed upward. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents? Okay, that's the same. Yeah, let's quickly exit and come back in, just in case. I'm pretty sure it was 10, but we'll just be extra careful. I don't want to, quote-unquote, be late for a meeting. Okay, so it was at 10, but that's okay. Alright, so we finished reading these. Let's read. What do we want to read today? 16 Days in the Coldest April. Psychological realism. This one sounded really interesting. Dick Mullen would be funny, I think. A masked fascist. The Stussy Tome. So the followers of Dolores Day were fascists, right? I think I kind of got that because, or I think that's right because I vaguely remember when you're like looking at the, sorry for bumping the mic, when you're looking at the in the church, the stained glass window of Dolores Day, and it mentioned something about the history of her and how she like um wanted to relocate people and stuff. And she was the one who caused like the whole massacre, right? The Man from Heimdall and the Devil Woman. Okay. Let's go with this one. This one interests me the most so far. I think hopefully it's the most interesting. In your hands you hold 16 Days of the Coldest April by Yakartina Doll. The cover image shows a row of concrete apartments, above which span a black and white rainbow. Feels heavy. Indeed, the book is unusually heavy in your hands, as though the cover were lined with lead. They would do that, Grod. How long is this book? You flip through the book. The pages are thinner than you realize, and the type quite small and tightly set. It's nearly 600 pages long. Look at the back cover. The back cover is dominated by a black and white photograph of the author. What does she look like? She can't be much older than her mid-30s in this photograph, and yet, from this cover, the eyes of a sad old woman stare back at you. In cold, detached prose, the author describes a scene from one of the Yukolgrad riots in the 20s. Youths overturned mortar carriages and set trash cans ablaze, while heavily armored guardsmen dashed in and dispersed them in a flurry of baton blows. As ethnic tensions run wild, a pair of young lovers meet each other on the street. Somehow, in the middle of all the chaos, they manage to lock arms and look into each other's eyes. It would physically hurt you to keep reading. Are you sure? Heck yeah, let's do it. F it, do it. It can't be worse than what you've already felt. No, I won't subject myself to Gradian realism. They go through a brief and somewhat awkward love affair, and in the end, they betray each other and succumb to the absurdity of Gradian life. The man becomes a lens grinder, completely abandoning his former existence. He toils through the daily drudgery at the Linka, a polyfabricate. Happiness and fulfillment has eluded him his whole life, and in the end, he has nothing to do but dedicate himself to the craft. And the woman? She spends the next several decades standing at a conveyor in a Sosnover fish processing plant. The smell of fish guts slowly seeps into her hair and skin, and every single one of her dreams dies one by one. That's sad. The memory of their short time spent together tortures the former lovers ceaselessly until the end of their days. Years pass in solitude, their bodies growing ever more decrepit. This is terrible. As life leaves their remains in the soiled sheets, their final thoughts are filled with regret. Good stuff. You effing love this. Oh, is that the end? Guess that's the end. How much time passed? Let's see. About an hour. Okay, let's just go in order. We'll just read Dick Mullen. In your hand, you hold a Dick Mullen and the mistaken identity. The brittle paperback feels fragile to the touch. The cover features a pastiche of different scenes. In the foreground, a man in a dark overcoat clutches a pistol to his chest. Rising up behind him are two silhouettes wrapped in a passionate embrace. The tagline reads, Detective Dick Mullen must prove his innocence after an old friend is murdered by someone who looks like just like Dick Mullen. This seems to sum up the premise nicely. Needless to say, it violates nearly every RCM regulation for a detective to investigate a murder in which he is a suspect.
Are you really reading that, detective?
I really need to know who this Dick Mullen guy is. I'm looking for advice on being a real detective.
Good luck finding it. He's not much of a character, I think you'll find. Just a stand-in for the reader.
Okay. The story opens with a knock at the door. Detective Dick Mullen is greeted by an old friend, Charlie Spillane, who's come to Dick Mullen to ask a favor on this dark and cold night. Spillane needs Dick Mullen to drive him in from Vesper to a small town along the Insulinian coast. Despite his friend's apparent agitation, Mullen does as he's asked and returns home, where he passes out drunk as he does most nights. An extremely unprofessional and hurtful stereotype that's offensive to all upstanding officers of the law. But also extremely accurate in your case. Look, I can't judge. Keep reading. Hey, I'm trying at least. Give it time. You'll fall off the wagon sooner or later. 2 days later, Mullen is arrested by the Vesper police and charged with the murder of Charlie Spillane. At his interrogation, Mullen learns that Charlie Spillane was shot in a bar in the very town Mullen dropped him off in by a man matching Mullen's description. Desperate to clear his name, Mullen managed to convince the Vesper police to release him for 3 days so that Mullen may solve his friend's murder and prove his innocence. The cops release their prime murder suspect so they can find the real killer? Are you kidding me?
What's the matter, detective?
Lieutenant turns to you with the start. I don't know who's writing this stuff, but I get the feeling that they aren't experts in homicide investigations. Lieutenant shrugs, resigned to the idea that his profession will rarely, if ever, be accurately represented in art and literature. Ha 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 ha. That's kind of a funny fourth wall nudge there, I think. They're not kidding you, detective. This is what the writers think passes for police procedure. Okay, so Mullen didn't do it. Of course Mullen didn't do it. That's the whole premise of the book. Anyway, Mullen returns to the seaside bar where Spillane was murdered and meets a beautiful, mysterious woman named Deanna Denuve. Denuve. Nice, a dame. Not just any dame. She's truly one in a million, a knockout whose mind is as dangerous as her curves. But she's got a secret. Man, who doesn't? Secrets are the currency of human relations. Your secrets are unknown even to you, so does that make you a rich man or a beggar? Now it's getting interesting. Denuve reveals that she was Spillane's lover and that he was mixed up with the local amphetamine smuggling operation. As soon as Mullen begins pulling at strings, the whole conspiracy begins to unravel. Oh yeah, that's my thought from before. Oh frick! I forgot. Bob, it's the time. Not only is the local police captain in on the amphetamine ring, so is the son of a powerful politician and a strung-out art collector named Torvald, each whom has his own reasons for wanting Spillane dead. Oh gosh. Okay, we'll just get on with the story for now. One evening, Diana Denuve comes to Mullen's hostel's room in tears. The two of them drink half a bottle of vodka, and soon they're seeking comfort in each other's arms. Yes, comfort and pleasure, the warmth of another's human touch, the burning taste of liquor on her full, sweet lips. Well, that testimony won't be admissible any longer. As the two lovers share a post-coital cigarette, Diana Denuve turns to Mullen and says, "By the way, Dick, there's something else I meant to tell you." "I love you? The name of the true killer? Always aim for the center of mass?" Whatever it is, Mullen never hears the words. A blow to the base of his skull knocks him out cold instantly. Okay, let's close the book for now. Okay, we need to check this slot first, which we already done before, so this is not new. I don't know if we can skip this. Oh, we can accept it. Okay, that's fine. So we'll leave it at that. I need to come back in for the book club. Hopefully it's not too late. I almost forgot. I was too caught up reading my book. Oh, okay. I guess that was the end of the quest, so there wasn't any more to talk about, really, with them. Okay. That kind of makes me... it's unfortunate that there wasn't more to that event, because I thought you could keep talking to them about books. But, that's kind of nice that we didn't miss out on anything in our run-through then. The end of completing this quest is having the giant horse king statue thing that's in the roundabout that gets decorated with like posters and wherever or whatever. So yeah, okay, cool. So that was it too. That was all there was to it then. Okay, so we can finish reading and then maybe we can play. I wonder if Kim would want to play this. Let me just click through all this again. I want to try all the options. Oh, wait, I never opened the box, right? Look at the back. Man up. This is all about having structured fun. Open the box. Okay, so this we didn't do. Whirl. You pry open the box. Inside you find a folded up map, a small booklet, a 24-sided die, and a little plastic figurine. Look at the map. A reprint of the crude hand-drawn map. The top of the left corner reads Lands of Whirl. The map features both small villages and mid-sized towns with odd names, in addition to meadows, forests, hills, lakes, and seas, also with odd names. It doesn't seem to correspond with anything you've seen thus far. It's not a very helpful map. Look at the booklet. A quick guide to the magical races of Whirl. Create your own hero choosing from any of these completely unique and fantastical backgrounds. The options are in order of importance. The Welkin, the Duoger, Diogre, the humans, the fairy folk, and the pygmies. Read about the Welkin. The Welkin, tall, lithe, and graceful, with long flowing hair and pointy ears. They're known for being powerful magic users, but can also hold their own in a brawn-driven fight. The Welkin come with a variety of exciting sub-races: High Welkin, Forest Welkin, Lake Welkin, and Snow Welkin. But if you're not feeling experimental, a basic Welkin will do. Read about the Dior. Let's see how to pronounce that. There we go.
A grand race of industrious mountain people. They're short, stout, and muscular, and enjoy digging for gold and other precious minerals. They're also well versed in the art of combat, where they prefer to use axes and hammers. The Tueog also come in a few different sub-races: Hill Tueog, Shield Tueog, and Dark Tueog.
Dueog. Okay, Dueog. Dueog. I'll try to remember that. Dueog. Dueog. Read about the humans. They're just humans. What else is there to tell? They're average in all stats and jacks of all trade. Fairy folk. A very small race of flying people known for being mischievous, full of trickery. They often lure people into their magical traps. There are no sub-races for the fairies. Pygmies. The least popular of the world races. The pygmies are short, rotund, and dim-witted. Pygmies live in small villages made of shoddy wooden dwellings. They spend most of their days tilling the earth and smoking their pipes. There are no sub-races for the pygmies. The die. It's made of some sort of wood and has been decorated with peculiar plant motifs. Take the die. You take the die and put it in your pocket. It's always good to have luck on your side. Oh. Wait, if I take the die, does that mean I can't play? Look at the figurine. You see a man in ragged clothes wearing a lopsided hat and wielding some sort of firearm. Huh.
Interesting. A communard.
A what?
A communard. One of the leftist revolutionaries in the anti-centennial revolution.
What's so interesting about that?
The figurine is not a part of the real game setting. I guess someone misplaced it during the packaging process.
Does that mean we can't play?
I have a feeling the figurines are more there to set the scene than anything else.
Take the figurine. You pick the figure up by the base to meet your gaze. The little plastic man stares back at you, his face contorted into a disturbing shout. Then you pocket it. Oh, can we not play this? I wonder. Okay. Open the box. Okay, I guess we can't play this. That's unfortunate. Interesting, though. Oh, yeah, because it's the supplement. I forgot. Okay. Yeah. But we got some cool stuff. Figurine set revolutionary. What a nice figurine. The turn of the century leftist revolutionary in ragged clothes. On his head lies a lopsided hat, seemingly an ushanka. In his hand, he carries a little musket. I wonder if you can find the base game, though. That'd be really interesting. Standard World Die. This basic 24-sided role-playing die can be used to get results for several dice. It's made of East Seminoese snakewood and embellished with plant motifs. It reminds you of Plain and Hill Wilkins. Note. Look at the map in the tab journal. See what white checks you have opened. Oh, it opens white checks. What? That's cool. Whoa, you can pay money to open white checks. Suzerainty, the board game. Oh, that's the with Kim. Okay. Oh, okay. It didn't open any checks, but yeah, I think it's because we have the siren dice that this didn't open any other checks. I wonder, these probably serve the same purpose. I wonder if it gives you double bonuses though. That would be interesting. Okay. Yeah. So let's see. I want to try playing Suzerainty with Kim. Was it suggestion? Okay, it was suggestion. Gotta get our suggestion on. Suggestion is purple, right? Yeah. There we go. Suggestion. Minus suggestion. Suggestion, let's see. That's all we have, I guess. Ah, suggestion. I can equip this. It wasn't anything else that does that, right? Could take more speed. Let's see what the check, what our percentage is at. 83? Okay, we can take some drugs, and then it should be good. Oh yeah. Give me some drugs. Oh, why is it? It's not working. I can't take my drugs. Why not? Why not? Oh, there it is. Very important, taking drugs for board games. Yeah. What is detective work if not an elaborate board game? You need logical inference, attention to detail, the ability to analyze your opponent's motives. Come on, it might help us think of more of creative solutions to the case.
I do feel like my thinking has become somewhat rigid. Maybe a little diversion to keep the mind limber is just what's in order.
Oh yeah. See? He's doing all the hard work himself. All he needed was a little nudge.
Alright, you've convinced me. How do we play?
I read the rules already. I'll show you. Explain the basic set of procedures to the lieutenant, who seems to be a quick study. You each take your bag of tokens and counters and unfold the board between you. In the center is the town of Revachol. Radiating outward are her colorful vassals, each one supplying some raw material desired by the suzerain. Apricots from Safra, archaeological treasures from Il Marat, sugar from the Semenian Islands, and magenta cocaine from the Supermundi and Sara Mirza. There's also a neat little log to keep track of your progress, in case you need to put the game away and return to it later. Lieutenant goes first. He draws a contact card and moves several of his workers to the Safra territory of the board, and the others to the Semenian Islands.
Alright, detective. Your turn.
You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contacts right away, or rearrange your workers to maximize production on future turns? Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it. Rearrange your workers to maximize production. That's what I want to do. What? It's the very beginning of the game. Your workers haven't even done any work yet. Okay, make them work a little, but not too much. That's more like it. You produce a handful of archaeological treasures and a smattering of other resources. Meanwhile, the lieutenant spends two of his sugar and one of his apricot tokens to complete his contract card. He's rewarded with 4 coins and a round wooden token that he places at the center of the board.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points.
Can I do my first turn over? I think I messed up. Hey, why don't I get one of those?
Don't worry. It was mostly just luck. You'll earn some points soon enough.
What is that patronizing tone? You're one of the suzerain's trusted administrators. You may need to put the lieutenant in his place. Glor silently. I'm not even sure what points are. That's part of the problem. The lieutenant returns your baleful look with a satisfied grin. Go on, is that your game face? You're practically broadcasting your position to the lieutenant with that expression. Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you survive a possible conflict with the lieutenant. Or you could ignore your labor supply and focus on fulfilling contracts for points and resources. What do you do? Kim, what should I do?
That's up to you, detective. But remember, the objective of the game is to earn victory points for the suzerain. You should probably pick one strategy and stick to it. Trying to do a little of everything is usually a bad idea.
But what about the
The
workers?
workers are just there to produce raw resources. You're not supposed to worry about them too much.
I guess that's the communist side of me. The lieutenant assumes you're playing by the rules as written, but what's the point of playing if you can't make your own choices? Press more workers into service. Using your powers of persuasion, you convince more workers to join your cause. After several turns, your worker tokens greatly outnumber the lieutenants. A vast army of expendable labor is at your command. Gaze on your workers like a harsh but proud deity. Take pity on their miserable lives.
Too bad investing in your workers just isn't worth many points.
What do you mean?
Take a look at the scoring tables in the back.
Lieutenant turns to one of those appendices you skipped over earlier.
You see in table 8C that investing in territorial infrastructure multiplies your final victory point total by 1, which is to say not at all. Whereas erecting monuments in Revachol gives you a multiplier of 5.
So you're saying the values of the ruling class are completely divorced from the well-being of the people who generate their wealth? So you're saying I should treat my workers like disposable labor instead?
Yes, precisely.
Now it's the lieutenant's turn to respond. He moves more aggressively to the software territory. Soon his workers are producing a steady supply of extremely valuable apricots. How can you let the lieutenant dominate you like that? You need to hit back, and hard. For several turns, you struggle to respond to the lieutenant's burgeoning apricot empire. Eventually, you relocate the majority of your workers to Supramundi and Sarah Mirza, where they begin to produce a bumper crop of cocaine tokens. You draw a new contract card. According to the text, there is an aristocrat willing to trade a large supply of cocaine for a number of coins and access to a rare bonus, amplified music, worth 7 victory points. Oh yeah, baby. Cocaine and rock music go together like cocaine and rock music. You reach a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression? Attack lieutenant steals resources? Oh man, what do I want to do? I don't know. It said stick to one strategy, right? But I mean, I do want to do this. It sounds tempting. Rock and roll, baby. It takes several turns, but you slowly begin to accumulate the cocaine necessary to complete the contract. When you do, it practically rains cardboard coins on your side. Feels good, doesn't it? But do you know what would feel even better? You're gonna say drugs, aren't you? Drugs, specifically uppers. You should find some the first chance you get. While you daydream about the speed, the lieutenant has built himself a formidable economic engine of his own. The endgame is upon you. How will you spend the vast resources you've acquired for the glory of the suzerain? Flipping through the manual, you find the most expensive structure in the game, the Revolutionary Victory Column, worth 12 victory points. If you can successfully build it, victory will be all but assured. Alternatively, you could try launching a trade war to crush the lieutenant's economy, or you could blow all that money on a public education system for your worker tokens. The choice is yours. We should stick with our, same plan, right? But a public education system. There's a reason very few players ever attempt to build a public education system for their worker tokens. It's extremely expensive and never pays off by design. You boondoggle nearly bankrupts the suzerain's territory as you suffer a significant penalty to your final score. No!
Ouch.
Lieutenant says, cringing at your spectacular failure. You tell me that points are arbitrary. I decided to play the game how I wanted instead. This stupid game is rigged. Maybe I should have pursued a different strategy.
That might have been a good idea, yes. Now, let's tally up the scores, shall we?
Darn it. Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coins, consulting tables, and struggling with basic addition and multiplication. After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your final score. -5 victory points. Dang it! I suck at this game. You'll be lucky if the suzerain doesn't have your whole family executed for such a pitiful performance. No, forgive me.
I've got 20 points.
The lieutenant looks up from his tabulations. He says, slightly embarrassed at the point differential.
Well, there's always next time. Figuratively, I mean. There's no way we have time to play this game again. Now, let's clean up and get back to work.
You hold the open game box before you. Darn it. No, can never play this game ever again. Oh well. Alright, let's finish reading Digimolin. We missed some parts. Okay, so...
What's the matter, detective?
Okay, not only is the local police captain in on the amphetamine ring, so is the son of the powerful politician and a strung-out art collector named Torvald, each of whom has his own reasons for wanting Spillane dead. Tell me about the corrupt police captain. Outwardly, the old police captain is a real law and order crypto-fascist, barrel-chested man who's beaten his snare of subjects to pulp. But he's also dirty and increasingly paranoid that someone's going to expose his role in the drug ring. He would certainly have the motive and the means, but the captain walks with a noticeable limp from an old war injury. Is it possible he was able to conceal it long enough to commit the murder? I want to hear about the politician's son. A typical privileged twat. In all likelihood, he's just in over his head. He does bear a personal grudge against Spillane, though, a former prosecutor who nearly brought down his father's administration. The kid doesn't exactly have Dick Mullen's manly build, but he is the correct height, and while interrogating him at his home, Mullen did notice a certain overcoat that looks suspiciously like his own. Art collector. Torvald the art collector is a strung-out mess. Frankly, it's hard to imagine him holding a pistol steady enough to actually hit someone, let alone plug them 3 times in the chest the way the old Spillane did. That said, Torvald and Spillane have a long history, and while interrogating him, Mullen discovers that Torvald was once involved with Diana Denuve. Could it be that this is all over a sordid love triangle? One evening, Diana Denuve comes to Mullen's hostel room in tears. Okay, we read this part. Well, that testimony won't be admissible any longer. How does Mullen expect to solve this murder if he's sleeping with witnesses? The man a prosecutor's nightmare. Solving a murder counts for nothing if all the evidence gets thrown out in court over police misconduct. That's just Dick Mullen's modus operandi. He might bend the rules, but he closes cases no one else can. Nice. Get him, Mullen. As the two lovers share the cigarette, and then she tells us something. And then she gets hit, right? When Dick Mullen comes to, Denuve is dead on the hostel bed next to him. To make matters worse, his clothes are covered with her blood. Double F. Mullen trashes his blood-stained clothes and flees the hostel, knowing it's only a matter of hours before the cops discover Denuve's body, if they hadn't been tipped off already. Fleeing a crime scene, destroying evidence, even if Detective Mullen didn't commit the murder, he should be facing years behind bars. Dick Mullen won't be sent to the clink for the sake of some legal niceties. The heat is on. If Dick Mullen can't solve both the murders before the cops catch up to him, he's going away for life. Can you solve the case before the cops close in? Wait, I've got some questions first. What is it, detective? Why does everyone close to Dick Mullen wind up dead? It's a dangerous line of work, but somebody has to do it. That's why Dick Mullen never lets anyone get too close. What's the matter? Afraid you've been hacking up your friends' bodies in the night? Have you gone over everyone? Is anybody missing? Why did Dick Mullen become a detective in the first place? There was never a time when he wasn't a detective. He was born a detective. Was I not born to be a detective? For a moment, you cease to read the story on the page and see the book for what it is, a collection of brittle, cheaply printed pages, held together by glue made from the hooves of horses. From nowhere, you hear the screech of sneakers on a waxed floor. You feel the burn of rope against your hands. Are these figments of some other life? You won't find the answers you're looking for here, in other words. Why bother solving crimes when the world is so evil? Is it really so evil, detective? Okay, maybe not. There are parts worth saving. Like Kim. You know, drugs. You know what's about the drugs. Do you even have those? I got Kim. Just make sure you don't lose him. You'll not find another like him. That's true. It's true in more ways than you know. But then what does this book know? It's just a poorly made piece of pulp garbage made to be consumed and discarded. I figured it all out. So who did it, detective? Who killed Charlie Spillane and Diana Denuve? Communism loved the men. The dirty police captain, the junkie art collector, the policeman SWAT son, Dick Mullen? Could be, who knows? Only one way to find out. Finish the book. You begin furiously flipping through the pages. Even as you know, these books follow a series of worn tropes, you find yourself completely engrossed. You're turning pages so fast you don't even notice the ancient spine becoming unglued. Reaction speed failure. No. Oh, 20. You try to grab the pages as they come loose, but your fingers aren't quick enough. They're gone. Dozens of pages scatter across the floor. The last fifth or so of the book seems to have been lost. It's possible that you could gather and reassemble the pages, but that would take way too long. Now I'll never know.
Too bad, detective. If it's any consolation, the resolution is almost never very satisfying. And on that note, perhaps we should get back to making sense of our own case.
In your hand, you hold 4 fists of Dick Mullen, the mistaken identity. Okay. Let's read the Greatest Innocence, and then we'll finish with the other book. Okay. The Greatest Innocence by oh, hold on. Time for full dialogue because I do not know how to pronounce that name.
The Greatest Innocence by João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego. The book is large and heavy.
Okay, we'll just say Fuego from now on because that's kind of hard to remember since it's a very long name. But in any case, that's how it's pronounced. João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego. Okay. Crack open this immense tome. Oh, yeah, this book is going to be super long. Right? It's basically like a Bible almost. Browsing through the various chapters, you try your best to understand the ceaseless overflow, the sprawl of names, dates, places, events, historical. Most of it ends up in a twisted mass of facts inside your brain. You can do it. It'll be worth it. There's something here. Your educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No? Oh well, it's pop quiz time. Let's see what you've learned. This might take a few minutes. You ready? Oh god, no. Let me out of here. Sure, why not? That's the spirit. Here we go. Question 1. Who was the first innocence? Dolores Day. Incorrect. Dolores Day was the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and the welfare state. She codified parliamentary... I guess I shouldn't trust pain threshold. A parliamentary democracy, and created modern institutions, among these the moral intern. She was powerful and beautiful on all her icons. Okay. So she wasn't... she was the start of the moral intern, not fascism. Her colors are silver, white, and apricot. And when you think her name, Dolores, stomach acid rises to the back of your throat and it hurts. You see a flash of silver, a wreath, an airport bag, and blonde hair. You don't know why. Another choice, perhaps? Steer clear of this one. There's something terrible about this one. Not thinking about it. Back to quiz. What? A strange sensation of loss. When she left the earth, the dust and the ice and the humans. That is unimportant to the quiz. Stop thinking about this. Yes, the quiz is impersonal. No need to rouse sensations in yourself at the mention of Dolores Day. Who was the first innocent? It wasn't Dolores Day. Sola? Incorrect. Sola was anointed during the previous century and even lived to see the current one. She was an urban planner who spoke her mind and largely left history to his own devices, encouraging people to excel on their own rather than just prescribing to a deified model of history. She is often called an anti-innocence. Sola resigned after an assassination attempt by the Yugo nationalists, who blamed her for not taking the side of the left during the turn-of-the-century revolutions. Innocences don't usually resign. Care to try again? The Percarnassian? Correct. Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that he was a he, but Franconegro presumed as such and called him Pius. He's depicted as a young man with molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It said he invented God and equality of men before God. He also introduced the gold standard as a way for measuring people's love for Aurum. As the first innocents, he declared that there should be more of those like him. It is presumed that his disciples were the beginning of the Holy Party, the founding party. Who was the strongest innocence? Dolores. Okay, my brain just keeps wanting to say that. Frankenegro? Correct. Named the innocence of militarism, he codified hereditary rule, but at the same time ended serfdom and established the inter-isolary real as a global reserve currency. He also established the concept of the nation. Franco attempted to solve the rising tensions between aristocracy and the bourgeoisie by building a unified society in which every man has a place and a mission, but at the same time may rise to nobility provided on the strength of his virtue. Who's a false innocence? Okay, it wasn't Dolores Delay. She's not false. We just read this, right? No, anti-innocence was the Sola, I think. Pasternak? Correct. Oh, nice. We guessed. There have been a number of counter or false innocences, some assumed to have innocentic qualities, some who just thought to them, or some who just thought to themselves. Or some who just thought so themselves. Occasionally they have the support of a faction inside the ecclesiastic organization, and accusations of foul play have arisen. Okay, I need to drink lots of water, lots of reading. But I'm having a great time. The most famous and important of these were Erno Pasternak. He was in torture, despotism, hymns, cannons, and a world conquest, but got defeated and humiliated by Stepan the Despicable of Kedra. Final stretch. You've come so far and learned so much. This is the most important one. Question 4. Who is the greatest innocence, the most important of them all, the most precious to mankind? Dolores Day. Correct. The Mesk might see Franco Negro as the father of nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores Day has become widely regarded as the greatest innocence, the most radical change to the whole fabric of the world. Everything from inter-isolary travel to the connected world to the 3 consecutive scientific revolutions can be traced back to her. Every decade that passes, she seems less human somehow, and more beautiful. And more beautiful, and more beautiful. Congratulations on finishing the test. The results and your subsequent grade have been calculated. A grade? You get a B. Good enough. Everyone misses a few from time to time. You would have done a bit better if you just dialed down the Dolores Day down a bit. Darn you, you arrogant book.
What's going on with you?
The lieutenant is jolted awake by your furious cursing. Thinks it's so smart. Gosh dang.
Okay.
The lieutenant stares at you, his visage unflinching. You're shouting at an inanimate object like a real weirdo. No wonder you seem to have trouble with the right answers. Okay, fine. Oh. Time to read Heimdall. The edges of the pages are worn and smudged. A lot of people have read about the devil woman's altercation with the Heimdall man. Look at the back cover. The jacket copy proclaims, Man from Heimdall returns in his most exciting adventure yet. After crashing into a strange jungle, cannibalistic natives abduct his only surviving comrade, noble Tierbald. Before Man from Heimdall can mount a rescue, he is ambushed by a tribe of female warriors and is taken to the ancient citadel of Cloud City, where a mysterious and wicked queen rules supreme. Will Man from Heimdall be able to escape his dire situation and find his missing friend? Time to flip through the book. You open the book to a random page. Man from Heimdall, wielding his 2 Zweihänders, is carving through a sea of savages, his visage fixed in grim determination. His arms, whirling like windmills, are soaked with the blood of his enemies. Mangled corpses litter the battlefield. You flip to the copyright page. This book was written in 38. Oh dang, gritty and heroic. Berserker rage burns in his azure-hued eyes as he brings glory and honor to his long-lost Heimdaller tribe from the village of Heimdall. The ivory giant roars like an ice bear, and the winds of Katla howl out his name. Give me more. A man from Heimdall rides on a gilded griffin, his gold mane billowing in the breeze. Both Zweihänders teeth on his back. He is off to war. Will he conquer his enemies? Will he conquer himself? The steel muscles of Man from Heimdall gleam in the humid jungle air, yet the man does not sweat. In meditation, his soul drifts in the frigid northlands he calls home. Holy crap, this is so me. Really get into the book. A passage reads, Man from Heimdall looks up, his eyes blue as the mountain lakes of his homeland. He rarely speaks, but now his voice booms in the darkened throne room. Do not try to sap my masculine essence, wicked temptress. Son of Heimdall will never succumb to your seductive wiles. Thine spells are no match for purity and strength of will. Brothers of Heimdall stand above the vices of flesh, for it is weak and corruptible, yet mine is forged in gore and strife. Queen Lydiana just laughs, a sultry and a salacious sound, then says, I have grand pleasures for you, man of Heimdall. She gestures her diabolical hand toward an array of potions and, unguents? Unguents? First, you shall please me, then lead my armies against the vicious cannibals. Not a muscle moves in the face of man from Heimdall, yet inside there is turmoil. This goes against all he holds sacrosanct. I kept hoping it would get better, but the writing's terrible and repetitive. Wow, this is epic. In the final pages, man from Heimdall mounts Galawarin, his mighty griffin, and turns his gaze toward the horizon. Queen Lydiana is dead, but an army of cannibals is storming the gates, and there's still no word of trusty Tyrbald. To find out what happens next, you have to pick up Man from Heimdall and the Three-Eyed Skull. Available in fine bookstores everywhere. Spring 39. Okay, I guess that was it. I'll get you next time, Kim. I'll probably play the board game with Kim again another time. But yeah, that was Disco Elysium, and we ended at a pretty good time. Just about 3 hours and 15 minutes of the stream. But yeah, I was hoping we would at least get through the main game and the story. The fascist board games, yeah. Oh, sorry, that comment was like from a while ago. I'm sorry. I was too engrossed in my reading. Oh, what happened? My OBS messed up. Okay. But yeah. We got through the main story, and we had just enough time to do some of the extra stuff and read all the books and play the board game, which was really fun. So that was really cool. I hope anyone who was new to seeing this game at all will give it a chance if they're into like a lot of dialogue and like super immersive story and stuff. But yeah, I'm super glad I finally decided to spend time to finish it. And I was just like, I had some times where I was just like, I don't know if I really wanted to play this tonight, but then I was just like, I really wanted to finish this game. And so I got through those like feelings of like not wanting to do anything and being lazy. And I finally finished it, so I'm really happy about that. But yeah, that was the end of Disco Elysium for the stream, and I think next time what I'm planning to do is that I wanted to stream more of Legend of Mana, even though we did beat the game. There's still more of the quests we can do, so I'll probably use a guide while I'm playing it in order so that we don't skip any quests, and then we can do that until the release of the new game called Death's Door, and that's going to come out on Tuesday. So I'll probably be playing that Tuesday night for the release day. It's like an action kind of game. If you've ever heard of Titanfall, it's made by the same people, and the gameplay is similar, at least according to the videos that I've seen of it and the trailers. But yeah, that game looks really fun. So, more actiony, probably more fun to watch, but yeah, that's what I'm planning to do in the next few days. But yeah, exciting. Let me think if there's anything else I wanted to say. Oh yeah, and then I think there's another game that was coming out, but I forgot. Oh, Pokemon Unite is coming out. I only heard about it recently, but apparently that's something that people are playing. It's like a MOBA, Pokemon MOBA, basically. So I was thinking about trying that out, and we'll see if that's interesting at all, if we'll keep playing that. But yeah. I think that was it. I have a lot of energy right now, I think, because I was really happy being able to read all the books and playing a board game with Kim. But yeah, so I guess I'll end the stream for today. And thank you all so much for watching. And that was Disco Elysium, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye!